In this edition of Off the Grid, we expose 3 of the greatest lies ever told by the Republicans at Fox News. Think you can trust the news? Think again. My vigilant producer, Brigitte Santos, has a list of Fox News' best lies. Let's go to the command center. You mean Fox News would not tell the truth?
Well, not if Fox News host Bill O'Reilly's latest shenanigans are any indication. Media Matters reports that O'Reilly has allegedly lied about everything from seeing nuns murdered in El Salvador to personally hearing Lee Harvey Oswald's associate commit suicide. But these aren't the only lies from Fox News. We've got 3 more for you. Earlier this year, Fox News inaccurately reported on no-go zones. Cities in Europe, it said, were so densely populated with Muslim extremists that police and non-Muslims dare not enter. The claims were made in response to the terrorist attacks on Charlie Hebdo. One terrorism analyst from Fox News even went as far as saying, in London, Muslim religious police beat and wound anyone not dressed in Muslim religious attire. This is a flat-out lie. One of the aforementioned cities, Birmingham, was found to have a Muslim population of only 20%, hardly a majority. Needless to say, his other statement accusing Muslims of beating people up in these areas for simply being non-Muslim is also not true. How do they get away with this behavior? I mean, their motto is Fox News, fair and balanced, for God's sakes.
This is just flagrant race baiting or religious race baiting or whatever you want to call it. And Fox News just did it to aggravate an anger in the United States against Muslims? That's what their agenda is. They should be ashamed of themselves. I think it's despicable that Fox News would tell a story that categorically is completely untrue. Sounds like Chris Kyle.
Now for Whopper number 2. Fox News falsely reported that Americans found 5,000 weapons of mass destruction in Iraq between 2004 and 2011. What they failed to mention was that the WMDs were actually old, degraded shells, chemicals, and warheads from the old Iran-Iraq war, some of which the United States even supplied. Why lie about this?
Because today, 10 years later, over a decade later, they're still having to try to prove that the invasion of Iraq was justifiable. Anybody with an ounce of brains today and has done an ounce of research and at all read knows that Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. There were no weapons of mass destruction of any significance there, and there were no ties to Al-Qaeda. So what Fox News is doing is perpetrating the propaganda that if you say it over and over enough times, people will believe it. So what Fox News is doing here is simply carrying the Bush-Cheney agenda so that Bush and Cheney can walk out with clear conscience and know that their propaganda has been perpetrated by Fox News out there to the people of the United States, and that a certain percentage of those people are going to believe it. That we know for a fact. If it's said on TV, a certain amount of people automatically believe it's the truth.
This brings us to lie number 3. Ebola is airborne. Fox News pundit George Will said Ebola is an airborne disease that spreads via coughing. He also claimed infectious Ebola particles could survive on dry surfaces for several days. But according to an infectious agent researcher at the University of Michigan, Ebola isn't a respiratory disease. Therefore, coughing and sneezing wouldn't be symptoms, would they, Governor?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how George Will became an expert on Ebola. And why on earth would Fox News use him as such? Wouldn't you want to talk to someone in the medical field who has gone through, 8 to 10 years of college or whatever it might be to become a doctor? And it's all fear. It's fear. Their job is to keep the United States people in fear. What happens when you keep people in fear? Well, they behave then. And that's the agenda. That way you get your freedoms taken from you, because who do you turn to when you're fearful? You turn to the government. And the only way the government can protect you is by taking your freedoms and putting you under lock and key. But many people in the United States will accept that. I'd rather have my freedom and deal with the other problems as they come, because freedom's the most important thing there is to life.
I agree with you, and it's no wonder Americans don't trust the media, Governor. So if we can't get our news from networks, where can we get it?
The good thing, there is light on the horizon, and unfortunately, I'm approaching that horizon myself. And the good thing is, if you look at the polls, the average viewer of Fox News average is like 72 or 73 years old. What's the matter with all you young college kids out there? Why wouldn't you want to watch Fox News? It's not only the media that lies, the government lies too. Listen to my audiobook, American Conspiracies, Lies, Lies, and More Dirty Lies That the Government Tells, on audible.com. Just sign up using the link below to get your free download. And as always, leave me a comment on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag StayVigilant.